It is my honor and pleasure to welcome you to the 2020 Convocation of the Waring School, brought to you by Waring School Productions. Just kidding. It does kind of feel that we could start a pretty good side business at this point. Convocation is a long-standing tradition in the Waring annual cycle, providing a formal opening to the year and a welcome to our new students and families. Much as graduation provides a formal close and farewell to our seniors. While we have all had to forego some traditions, this is one that we felt should be recreated instead. We wish we could be on the quad together with the emerging form of the new building in our backdrop, and that day will come soon, although I won't put a date on it in order not to jinx our chances. I debated whether or not to compare this convocation to what a typical convocation has looked like. We do have a tent. We have lots of tents, in fact, but not for convocation. We have the book, but you'll have to bring your own pen. We have presenters, but they won't be able to stand next to you when you sign. We're having a parade. This is new. But we don't have a long enough driveway for everyone to come. What we do have, however, that is unchanged are 40 new students whose faces, even while masked, are becoming well known to us by their eyes and their hair and their laugh and their voice. I've had the privilege of spending time with some of you. A lunch where Pod 2B taught me to play assassin, and a little rock climbing and woods exploration with Core 3B. We have all been craving each other's company since March, and these two brief moments were my first taste of being back here with students. I have to say that I did not anticipate how much joy those short encounters would bring me as I experienced in person your unhesitating creativity and exuberance and life. Thank you for inviting me into your circles, and I look forward to spending time with each of you, returning or new, to learn and talk and play together, because these are also things that we still and always will have and cherish. While Corey will introduce the new students, it's my pleasure to help you put a name to the faces of our new faculty and staff members of the school. Joining us to teach both French and writing is Marianne Durand. Marianne comes to us from France, where she has worked for Coca-Cola and subsequently covered U.S. politics for La Provence, a newspaper of southern France. She is passionate about poetry and any form that brings together language and music. She will be teaching 2 French classes and 1 4-5 writing journalism class. Isabel Skillen is a Waring alum, class of 2014, who is joining us as a part-time teaching fellow. While many of you just visited last year, I remember 7th grade Isabel's visit too, when she sat quietly in my core math class in the house, diligently working out a fractions problem. She graduated from Gordon in 2018 and has been working as a paralegal, but her love of ideas and language, and maybe math too, have brought her back to this community, and she will be teaching the Core 3 section of Humanities. Terry Kidd lives in Beverly and is a working playwright with an MFA in creative writing for stage and screen. He has taught playwriting at Emerson College, has experience in podcast production, and has recently added audiobooks artist to his list of talents. Terry will be joining our writing department, teaching a section of 2-3 and a section of 4-5 writing. Rick, who is managing this whole production, by the way, lives in Manchester and most recently worked in the football industry at Your Call, which he tells me was a way that would have allowed me, or you, sitting on my couch to call plays for a football game happening live in a dedicated league. Luckily for us, Rick is also an excellent photographer and videographer and has extensive experience with social media and website creation and management, and will be using his talents to help us manage our presence in this virtual world. Finally, I will add that each of these new arrivals is jumping in everywhere and doing as much as they can to become part of the community by covering lunch periods or drop-offs or substituting in a class, even while their main presence has to be online for now. Thank you for all your work and for what you have already brought to the community. I could not close my remarks without acknowledging this final opening of school for Diane and Pavel Yurka. Their care for everything in this physical space always came with the love of ownership, just as the founders hoped we would all feel about the school. They have set the bar high for each of us to continue their caretaking in all the ways we have the privilege of occupying this space. Thank you to you both for everything. With that, I will pass the screen over to Yu Chung Tam, Chair of the Board of Trustees.
Hi, I'm Yu Chung Tam. In addition to chairing the Board of Trustees, I've been fortunate enough to be involved at Waring during the past 6 years. while my children, Jackson and Betta, attended the school. I want to welcome you to this incredibly vibrant and supportive community. In the best of time, I think it takes time to understand the opportunities for learning and kinship this community affords you. During COVID time, it may be more time consuming to unearth, but trust me, Waring will offer much to both students and family. But I have some advice to offer to make the most of that experience. Before the pandemic, I traveled for work a lot. We are talking flying over 7 million miles. That's like going to the moon and back almost 30 times. It also represents a huge chunk of time. Often people consider travel time to be wasted. Time between point A and B for zoning out and watching movies, considering the amount of my life I was spending in transit. I soon realized the importance of maximizing the journey by engaging with my surroundings at all points. Pulling out your laptop to fine-tune a proposal is one way to maximize the time, but engaging with fellow travelers and airline staff is so much richer. You may consider your wearing years to be a time to transitions from youth to adulthood, a time to focus on skills in academic area to get to place A to B. But if you are open yourself to the entire journey, you will gain much more than that. Students, when you're ready, you can run all school meetings about topics you are passionate about. They let you do that here. If it's never going to be your cup of tea to present to a large group, Francis will enthusiastically stoke your interest harmonics. Even if you are not in his physics class yet, Tim Averill will joyfully help you hone your bocce skills, or Anton will exuberantly share his love for Latin with you. And if you can't find someone who cares your passions yet, you are sure to find many eager learners. What happened between classes at Waring is as significant as what happened in them. The journey can be rich in ways you never imagined. Better help to organize a full days of programming for the entire school body in lieu of classes to mark the NFC shooting and promote dialogue and actions around gun control. That is hard. Jackson's had opportunities to weigh in on key conversations with administrations and trustees regarding issues of diversity and sustainability. Jackson sang in madrigals and better carved new gender-neutral signs for the bathroom. As a parent, it was so rewarding to see my children being given the opportunities to grow in convictions and creativity because engaged and caring teachers value their voices and taught them to value them themselves. As a bonus, my wife and I will also offer many opportunities to engage, as you will be, families. The more we involve ourselves, the better it got. Personally, I like to cook, and at some points, half the school had been to my house to share a meal. Don't zone out. Waring is offering each of you the opportunities to carve your own unique and rewarding path while sharing in a journey together. Grab hold.
Up until last year, every year I taught French, I would announce to the class on September 13th that that date marked a very important anniversary for me and ask them if they knew why. It was a playful way to get the students to generate questions in French. Eventually, they would work out that it was not my birthday or my wedding anniversary, but rather the day my life changed. The year was 1985 and I was 27. After college, I'd been working as a commercial photographer in my hometown of St. Louis. I'd built up a successful business but was looking for a change of location. I decided to move to Seattle to be closer to the mountains and the ocean. I'd also started taking cello lessons, and when I learned that my teacher was leaving for the summer and I wouldn't see him again, I invited him over for a last dinner. He asked me about my plans. Do you have a job in Seattle? No, I told him. Do you have a place to live? No. Do you know anyone there? No. Do you at least have some money saved up? Yes. Well, he said, thinking aloud, if I had a setup like that, I'd do something really wild, like move to Paris. He was right. It really wasn't much crazier than moving to Seattle. I didn't have a job in Paris. I didn't know anyone. And besides, I'd always wanted to learn French. In St. Louis, I didn't know anybody who just moved to Europe. It hadn't really occurred to me that such a thing was even possible. So, instead of heading west, I headed east. I'd be lying if I said I wasn't nervous as I boarded the plane with my 2 bags on Friday the 13th, no less, the only day I'd been able to find a cheap one-way ticket. I didn't know where I'd be spending the first night when I arrived, much less how I'd manage in the coming months. It was one big unknown. But when I asked myself, what's the worst thing that can happen? The answer was waste a few months and a few $1,000s being miserable in a foreign country. And what's the best thing that can happen? It might change my life. In Paris, the first few weeks and months were tough, but I gradually learned the language, found an apartment, made friends, and got to know that beautiful city, its people, its culture, its history. More importantly, I discovered a passion for the arts and a thirst for learning, seeking out museums, cinemas, and concert halls. Paris became my university, my campus. In the middle of my second year in Paris, I heard through a friend about a small independent school outside of Boston with an emphasis on French language and culture. I'd become more interested in teaching over the years and visited the school when I was in the US for the holidays. From the moment I walked onto the Waring campus, it seemed like the school I'd always wished I'd gone to. I bonded immediately with Philip and José Waring, and a few months after my return to Paris, they'd asked if I'd be interested in teaching the following September. I was nervous. I'd never taught before or led a discussion with students. I weighed the risks. Worst thing that could happen? A tough year and then find something else to do. Best? Life-changing. My first year was a whirlwind as I taught humanities, French, math, science, and writing. I rarely made it past 9 p.m. before falling asleep with my humanities reading. But I loved the constant stimulation of the discussions, the close connections with students and colleagues, the adventure of trying new things. During my third year at Waring, a French woman named Christiane showed up for a job interview. Well, you know the rest. Along the way, there have been other scary decision points. Should I spend a sabbatical year traveling in Southeast Asia? Should we get married? Should I advocate creating the first director of technology position at Waring? Should Christiane and I tell Tim after 30 plus years of teaching that we'd like to try something different? Should I accept the invitation to speak at Convocation? The point I tried to get across to my French students each year, and now to you new students, is to trust in that process of adventure. What is your Paris? And especially seniors, when you get to a scary decision point, ask yourself, what are the best and worst possible outcomes? Chances are the worst isn't really as bad as you might think. And as for the best, it might lead to life-changing places, like Waring.
Hello, Waring family. It's a pleasure to share some thoughts at Convocation this year. My name is Peter Pound, and my oldest son, Charlie, is in Group 2 this year. This is his third year at Waring. He loves it. Welcome back to all the returning students and families, and a special welcome to our new students and families. It has been a very uncertain time over the past 7 months with the coronavirus pandemic. But I'm certain that students and families who choose to come to Waring this year have made an excellent choice. To start, I'd like to share that when I'm given the chance to give an elevator pitch about Waring, I simply say that the school is amazing because it seeks out and seeks to elevate the best in every single student. We have amazing musicians, actors, athletes, artists, world champion robotics programmers, linguists, debaters, all-round academics, and a bunch of other categories I've probably inadvertently left out. As a parent, when you choose a school, you're trying to find the best fit for your child. And Waring works for engaged students and parents because it, too, wants the best for every student. Today, I will offer 2 thoughts about Waring for you to consider for the beginning of this unprecedented school year. And I'll do it by reference to 2 of my favorite things, trees and wine. Yes, I know Charlie will cringe because he'll be like, oh, that is so my dad. First, trees. I love trees. For today, I'll only reference one type, oaks. I love oaks. We have many oaks at our home, including several that are more than 150 feet tall. They're truly majestic. And they are, and my family makes fun of me for saying this, considered by me to be part of the family. When I sit on my deck, I love enjoying them, living under their shade and guidance. One of my favorite poems is from Walt Whitman. I saw in Louisiana a live oak growing. That book of poetry was one of my favorite in high school. However, I've only been giving a short amount of time, so no time to get into poetry today. My point today about oaks is about their roots. You'd think that super tall oaks would have roots that shoot down just as high as the tree grows. But it isn't true. Most oak trees' roots lie less than 2 feet below the surface. Not deep at all. But the oaks are nonetheless able to rise to great heights because their roots spread out widely. The root system of a mature oak tree can stretch out many miles, connecting with what is around it. Through that interconnectedness, the oaks are able to have the strength and the solid foundation to reach the heights that they do. That is Waring. Together, the interconnectedness, the amazing celebration of the talents of each student by the Waring community, students and the faculty, provides the environment that allows each student to reach soaring heights, to be fearlessly who they are. So, aim high and spread your roots deep, knowing that through interconnectedness and support, everyone will become excellent and will be supported to be their best self. Second, wine. Here's a groan from Charlie. I'm a huge wine enthusiast, and my favorite thing about wines is when they are authentic, when they are expression of the place, of where they are from. My comment about wine grapes and vines today, though, is about their roots. And my comment about vine roots is specifically made in connection with the strange time our students and families find themselves in. Conventional wisdom might lead you to think that great wines come from the best, the easiest growing environment, lush soil, warm sun, plentiful water, but that simply is not true. Some of the greatest wines in the world come from extreme conditions. Why? If planted in super fertile soil, grapevines usually sit less than 2 feet below the surface. But in more challenging environments, think of Burgundy with its rocky and pebbly soil, or in Sicily on the volcanic slopes of Mount Etna. The vines need to work. They have to work hard. But guess what? With restricted water, scarce nutrients, the roots scour deep into the subsoil to scavenge for resources. And some of those regions, the roots work down more than 30 feet. And miraculously, in working hard like that, the vines produce the best, the most authentic, and the richest fruit. That purposeful suffering brings out their best result. Waring students and families, we're living and going to school in a very challenging environment. As we navigate it, I encourage you to keep the oaks and grapevines in mind. Like oak tree roots, please continue to reach out to other students, the faculty, and our extended Waring community to rely on our interconnectedness to help us reach the special and unparalleled heights that Waring students can obtain. And like the grapevine roots, please view this challenging time as an opportunity to be pushed to bring forth your best self. Thank you very much to Waring for the chance to share a few thoughts today. The Pound family wishes everyone the best for the school year. And if anyone is in need of help to rise higher, to push through challenges, please let us know and know that the Waring family is here to support you.
Like many schools, wearing is steeped in tradition. Almost everything a student does has been done countless times before, whether it is having to run to physics, playing soccer on the charge, or waiting for a microwave in the VH room. The same can be said for writing in Group 1, when you make a comedic story about a senior, something I was utterly frozen with fear thinking about. When I remember this now, I shouldn't have been as terrified as I was. It was my third year of wearing. The senior was about as nice as anyone could possibly be, and I was close friends with her sister, which offered me a no-stress solution to learning more about my subject, Emma Garthwaite. But even with all that going for me, I still dreaded the day in spring when I had to read the piece to the whole school, faculty included. The topic for my story was ridiculous, conceived in the mind of a sleep-addled, panicking, procrastinating non-musician. The turtle cello waddles over to the door, and with a flick of its string, it leaps out the door and heads over to Hamilton Crossing. This is not what I would call an enthralling plot, but it was the best I could do in the 2 days I put into it. When I stood up to read in meeting, I was a wreck. My breathing was heavy, I had scratched my arm raw in pre-story delivery anxiety, and I had stood up too early, interrupting the last few sentences of a classmate. After blushing furiously and sitting back down only to get up moments later, I started. A loose cello string. There it was, the last nail in my 8th grader sized coffin. Doggedly I continued. Emma wanted something exciting for her tea. She was reading Harry Potter again for the 500th time, and for reading her book, she chose a small faded green powder tea, carefully labeled matcha on the jar. That had to be good. As if everything was already bad enough, it was at this point that my tiny reserve of nerves failed me. My voice dropped off into barely a whisper, the hiccups becoming the center point of my story. All the while I was tensing for the infamous call out from the teachers. Speak up! It never came, so I continued, my voice dragging on the carpeted concrete floor. When I finished, I could only look at the ground. The readings continued, but even after speaking, I still imagined eyes on me, hot pokers of judgment seemingly coming from all around. The meeting ended soon after, and I ran for the exit, ducking and weaving around everyone else just standing up. As I sprinted to the Grand Salle, only a memory today, I found that I was not the first person to leave or to escape. As fate would have it, I collided with the senior I thought my piece had disappointed. Emma recovered and pulled me into a tight hug, asking all the while for the full story, not just the excerpt I had chosen. She had loved it. This is what wearing does. It will push you struggling and panicking into a full experience. You can completely die in your own eyes, but there will always be someone that has your back to give you the hug you need, disease permitting, and to tell you that they loved it. It doesn't have to be in your grade. You can find them doing anything at school. Whether it is sports or theater, writing or SDA, you will find passionate, lovely people in all subjects. They are the individuals you become close friends with, but sometimes to find them, you have to have a few hiccups on the way.
Waking up to my correspondent coming into my room on the last morning of her 4 weeks in Angers, France, and her saying to me, "You're not going home," was not how I was expecting my morning to go. At that moment, we did not know what was going on. The workers for Air France went on strike, so we did not have a flight to head back to Boston. I, of course, was tired and not able to fully comprehend what was happening. So I just laughed and said, "Okay, are you sure?" My correspondent nodded and walked away as I frantically texted my friends, asking what was going on. The last full day in Angers was consumed by my grade going around the city and shopping, while Yasmin and the teachers sacrificed their last day by spending hours on the phone with different airlines and travel agents. Fortunately, things worked out, and we managed to arrive the next day to stay an extra night at the airport's Hilton Hotel in Paris, everyone feeling grateful that we were able to have this experience. We did have to go home on different flights, and it was touch and go to get it all organized. I realized while staying the night at the last-minute booked hotel that wearing teachers are willing to sacrifice so much just to ensure a good experience for the students. This experience in Angers not only taught me that, but also to go with the flow and trust the process. As I go into this next year with ambiguity, I think back on this moment and how the best was made from the worst. The faculty and staff will continuously shape and rework the present to make the students' future feel safe and secure. Wearing shows people how to put others first and to rest easy with the fact of uncertainty, to stay in the present moment and love every minute of it. So, as we all head into the school year, enjoy the journey. Enjoy the canceled flights, the new courses, and the uncertainty of it all. Wearing will always make sure we feel as though we are staying at a Hilton hotel in Paris, even if it is just our cohort's tent on the quad.
In one evaluation, a French teacher wrote, "To describe Cole this semester, I would like to use the analogy of a boat. Cole is sitting in the boat, and he's bailing water frantically to stay afloat and continue forward, but at the moment, he is sinking." Unfortunately, that was pretty accurate. Despite dedicating hours of focus flex periods towards becoming a successful French student, I continued to fail. From the very start, the French language had it out for me. I still have voice memos I listen to once in a while of me weeping into the microphone my first week of 6th grade after trying for the 20th time to say, "Ma maison est clé." When 9th grade rolled around and everyone started talking about the Angers exchange, I started to get a little worried, and for good reason. Different scenarios of me botching the French language in front of strangers, getting lost in the streets of Paris, accidentally offended my host family, ran through my head. At the same time, I also had a weird amount of hope. I thought maybe I could become friends with my French correspondent, and through deep conversation, learn French. Elouan arrived in the fall, and as incredible as it sounds, he was even worse at foreign languages than I. As it turns out, he didn't even like to speak at all in either language, French or English. The most he got out was a "I go take my shower now," or referring to something he didn't like on the dinner table, a muttered dégoûtant. After a while, the continued defeat started to wear me down. I started to dread French class, where I knew only embarrassment awaited me. Entering sophomore year, I had a new teacher, Christiane, and I was terrified. She was knighted by the French government for her verb conjugation skills and analysis of Petit Nicolas. But something strange happened. Through weekly tea times and discussions about all school meetings and the standing of the French national team, my fear dissipated, and I started to look forward to French class. By junior year, it became a class that I yearned for when other parts of the day got dull. And although I still was meeting with Christian at least once a week, I started to improve. And for the first time, I started to feel like I was sailing, or at least getting towed by the Coast Guard. Christiane took the time to get to know me. She designed classes geared toward my interest. She relentlessly went over verb conjugations. She gave up lunches and breaks, and it was Christiane's patience and care that kept me afloat. The thing about wearing is that you will struggle, and at times you will feel like you are sinking. But with every struggle that wearing throws at you, also comes a teacher that will drop everything and help you. And it doesn't just have to be French. For me, it was pre-calc, music theory, physics. The list goes on. But wearing is a place where at the end of the day, you will always be pulled out of the water.
How many times have you been asked to describe home? To describe a community in which you not only feel that your presence is valued, but required. Is home a feeling of safety? Is home somewhere where you can take risks? Or is home, perhaps, a place where both can come together? 7 years ago, when I came to this school, I was repeatedly told that the campus would begin to feel like home and the community like my family. Yet for many of my first years at Waring, I couldn't comprehend how a place that challenged me so much could ever bring me such comfort. Such comfort as I feel in my family's living room while crickets chirp beyond our open doors and the sky glows purple as my sisters and I share our stories. How could a place that forces their students to speak French conversationally on their first day of class and learn the Fibonacci sequence at age 11 ever even begin to encapsulate the same sentiment as that? For years, I worried that I would never understand what the upperclassmen and faculty kept alluding to, and it was long before I even began to notice the friendship that had blossomed between Waring and me. Soon, philosophy discussions from Joshua's 2-3 humanities class began to echo through my head daily, and his all-knowing exclamation to find the genuine began to guide how I lived. The concepts I learned in Francis's physics class began to make themselves known as I navigated the world and science outside of Waring with greater clarity, and numbers began to paint themselves onto nature in a way that I had never noticed before. It was as if each teacher I encountered at Waring let me in on a small secret not just about the world, but about myself. Despite the fact that Waring continued to throw curveballs my way, I finally understood that, without ever telling me, Waring had given me the tools to calculate exactly where they would land. My initial worries developed into an excitement to learn, and more importantly, a passion for life. Each risk I take at Waring is executed with the support of my teachers and peers, and somehow Waring has managed to capture the precious balance between apprehension and growth. Now, it's as if each encounter I have with the Waring community shares that same comfortable feeling of sitting with my sisters in our living room, and it is that very sense of community that has allowed for me to soar where I never imagined possible. As I enter my senior year at this school, I've never been so aware of my place in the world, nor how at home Waring has allowed me to feel within myself. Although it is more than difficult to trust challenges as we face them, what Waring will teach you is to welcome adversity as it arrives, and that this feeling of home at Waring will be with you wherever you go.
Waring School community, faculty, trustees, alumni, new and returning students, parents, guardians, and families. Our tradition of convocation, a calling together in its Latin etymological roots, speaks to Waring's culture in the larger sense. We create and sustain a community through rituals in which we are all called together, and usually with the prominent use of voice, as the word convocation denotes. And at Waring, we certainly hear lots and lots of voices. New students, you've heard the words of 4 eloquent seniors who of course represent diversely this use of voice and this calling together. We now ask each of you new students, how will you use your voice? How will you help Waring shape and rework the present, to borrow from Annabelle Palumbo, even during a time of uncertainty? In short time, we've seen you speak up. Just look at this last week's all-school meeting on ranked choice voting, where we heard from several of you new students, as alumnus Mike Zarin presented. We've already seen you sketch, discuss literature, solve equations, laugh, act on our new backfield theater stage, strike new yoga poses, speak your first French words while learning entirely in French, begin designs in first Lego and tech, prepare for virtual debate, and run up to the microphone at Coffee House on the game field so courageously. All many forms of using one's voice that we not only value at Waring, but is essential for a school that depends on full participation and engagement through mixed age and full community experiences. This calling together, this very idea of convocation, has special meaning here at Waring. Here, we so often call together the entire school, whether it's for all-school meeting, a full school 5K, the publishing of yearbooks that include all students and staff, circling up to meditate together on the minefield, or for more formal ceremonies such as today's convocation, even in virtual or hybrid format. All school experiences spring from the earliest roots of Waring School, when each morning the Waring family gathered those early adopting students around their table in 1972, and we now continue in that vein. Peter Pound, I'll defer to you as to whether these kinds of experiences are more akin to the roots of oak trees or to those tenacious vines from the pebbly soils of Burgundy. We've heard in the voices of our seniors the even greater need to come together in a time like today, when a pandemic has changed life as we know it, and when there is much social unrest in our country, with horrific acts of racism continuing all around us. Students, you have used your voices to affect real change at Waring, and the calls for action have been heard and echoed by faculty, the Board of Trustees, and school leadership. As I said in the video I made for a recent board retreat and that we later shared with the community, much of the positive and sometimes very difficult changes over the last several years have come directly from you, our students, both younger and older, new and returning. New students, as I said to you in our first all-school meeting of the regular school year, your voices are every bit as important in helping Waring shape and rework the present as those of any other group among us, even those who have been part of the school for decades. And Shaler, Robin, Matt, Francis, there have been some years, haven't there? In many ways, I believe Waring has become a better school over the last several years, and that we now better recognize that the term acculturation, a very tricky word actually, must involve a sharing of cultures in every direction, between all age groups, between faculty and students and trustees, between new students and returning students. A convocation or calling together such as this, therefore, is not a ploy to Waringize our newest students and families to a Waring way of doing things, so much as it is a formal invitation for all voices to dialogue with a genuine, open, and curious passion for learning. That's why we're all here, of course. As we come together this year, we are asked to find the genuine, as Clara Corcoran reminds, and to strike that precious balance between apprehension and growth. And when you feel apprehensive, new students, and we all will from time to time, let's remember the words of Cole Sauter and Theo Cabot. When there are hiccups, or even a long string of hiccups, right, Theo? Or when we're bailing water from a boat as we struggle in those travails where we might at first fail, and at Waring we're encouraged to fail. May we find that peer or teacher or mentor or parent or homestay guardian who, as Cole said, is ready to drop everything to help you. I will leave you with a final thought as we call each other together through this historical, trying time. There exists in our new Passive House school building a physical symbol of hope through these strange days, a daily reminder as the building takes shape before our eyes that we will once again come together and in the same physical space at last. Our owner's rep for the building project, parent Craig Douglas, recently toured a few of us through the building as we filmed Craig in a video that will soon go out to the whole community. When we entered the new all-school meeting space, soaring high above the quad, encased in what will be the largest windows on campus, soon to arrive from Europe, Craig made an apt metaphor that you'll soon see and hear on film. When I first stood in the Polygon, Craig said, I felt as though I was in a dark, enclosed underground space. Standing here in this new all-school meeting room, I feel as if I've entered a shining cathedral. Welcome, students and families. Bienvenue. Welcome and welcome back to Waring as we are called together to shape and rework the present at a most important time for Waring and the world. Thank you. I would now like to pass things along to our Dean of Students, Corey Grant.
It's now time we make official your membership into the Waring community. But first, I want to speak about what this means to me, what we're going to do this year, and what responsibilities we have to you as a community. By signing your name into the Convocation album, you are committing to participating in our program and joining us in action that honors our school's mission. Our mission is to create and maintain a community of lifelong learners who are working together for the individual and common good. You, new Waring students, are now on that mission together with us, charged to both create and maintain work that ultimately leads to common good. Over the years, pursuing this mission has changed necessarily as we respond to what we learn and develop a greater awareness for what our needs really are and what responsibilities we have to one another. This year, and for as many years as it takes, we will create a program that adds value to each other's lives and respects the times we're in. We'll maintain and pass down Waring traditions of community, adventure, academic rigor, music, and fun. We will learn by examining our history, discovering new things together, and we will commit ourselves daily to taking action and counter to racist ideas and the myth of racial superiority. It is our responsibility to you at Waring to keep each other safe during this pandemic, to examine who we are, learn from our past, and try to make things better for the future. It's our responsibility to promote education, insist on ethics, and demonstrate respect for social and emotional well-being. New students of Waring, you belong here with us on this mission. Please sign the album and welcome to Waring.
Avery Cooper introducing Nicholas Bach.
I'm Paolo Calderaro introducing Noah Calderaro.
I'm Miranda Cotter-Holland presenting Hudson Chang.
I'm Una Norton introducing Abigail Dowd.
Hi, my name is Claire Venema presenting Jack Fawcett.
Bella Fideli presenting Julian Fideli.
Hi, I'm Anna Doran introducing Neve Golden.
Alexandra Brepty introducing Camille Grant.
I am Eli Baer presenting Thomas Ireland.
I'm Natalia Ellis introducing Geneva Kelleher.
I'm Olive Lyons McClin presenting Poppy Lyons McClin.
I'm Sebastian Wells introducing Kapil Parvatineni.
Hi, I'm Gigi Grabowski and I'm introducing Arabella Pelakudis.
I'm Nate Gerb presenting Tessa Peterman.
Keone Prescott presenting Tegan Prescott.
I'm Olive Souter introducing Asher Souter.
I'm Noah Schiller introducing Levi Schiller.
I'm Ellie Soininen introducing Reed Soininen.
Hi, I'm Claire Venema introducing Haven Venema.
Lola Prendergast introducing Tate Zabin.
Colin Vonte presenting Micah Byron Samara.
I'm Henry Carlson Lear presenting Pascal Fishburne.
I'm Zoe Waller introducing Juliet Hale.
I'm Ireland Doran introducing Caroline Oranger.
Hi, I'm Lucy Schaefer, and I'm introducing Lucine Rivette.
I'm Lincoln D'Angelo, and I'm introducing Angela Simmons.
Hi, I'm Wilhelmina Rolf-Thamer, and I'm introducing Carol Van Stry.
I'm Owen Cooper, introducing Oliver Bach.
Charlie Pound, introducing Erie Chajani.
I'm Gigi Rashawn, introducing Ani Bagley.
Sophia Mastone, presenting Alfred Barskowski.
Tony Rose Babson, introducing Michaela Bennett.
I am Elena Bear, introducing Abigail Buchler.
I'm Beryl Clary, introducing Amy Kai.
I'm Ari Bloom, introducing Julian Hidalgo.
Theo Van Allen, introducing Eliza Loring.
I'm Sarah Patey, introducing Carmela Mastrangelo.
Lou Penaloza, presenting Catherine Peterman.
I'm Lucas Carmona, and I'm introducing Miles Avery.
I'm Ethan Wood, introducing Silas Baker.
Let's unmute ourselves and give a round of applause for our new students.
Woo. I'm muted, by the way.
Woo. Oh, man. I don't know about you, but I found that very, very moving.
Yeah, wonderful.
I'd like to thank the advancement team and Diana Pavel for setting up for the upcoming parade, and of course our Group 4 parents and the leaders, Jenny Conte and Denise Clinton, for making the campus very beautiful for what's coming up. So this is going to conclude our virtual portion of the ceremony, which I believe will be available to watch later on. For those of you joining us for the parade, new families and faculty and seniors will corral at 3:45 at the ballpark, exit 18. And thank you all for being here. Again, this was very moving, and thanks to all who helped make this ceremony happen. Cheers. We'll see you soon for the parade, new students and seniors and faculty.
Thank you.
Wow.
Thank you. Thank you.
Merci.
Thank you.
Merci.
Thank you.
Bittler.
And when you do it really loud, into the mic.
Nicholas and Oliver Buck. Your call. Noah Colorado. Hudson Chang. Abigail down.
Congratulations. And you'll take a picture over with Robin by the flowers.
Nice job, Abigail. Grab some flowers.
Thank you.
Jack Fawcett.
After you sign, make sure to get your flowers and take a nice picture with Robin. Good job, Jack.
Hold the flowers up. Exactly like an
Julian Fideli.
After you sign, get a nice picture with Robin. And your parents can pull forward.
Jenny!
Neve Golden.
Step over and take your flowers and get a nice picture with Robin. You know, we can have you do is sign again on Monday, or whenever you're full. Thank you.
Camille Grant.
Right here.
And then stop and have a picture.
Thomas Ireland.
There you go. After this, get your flowers. Take a nice picture with Robin.
Stop, Thomas. Anyone you like. Yeah, and now let's take a picture.
Thank you.
Geneva Kelleher.
Head over for your flowers. And a picture with Robin.
Travel lunch, if you like. Thank you. Go ahead. Let's take a picture.
Thank you.
Poppy Lyons McLean.
One second here. One more photo. Right?
Grab a bouquet of flowers. And then let's go take a picture together. Right there. It's perfect.
Kapil Parvataneni.
Head over to the flowers with a picture with Robin.
Grab a bunch of flowers. And then stop right there and look at this. You can take a picture.
Arabella Pelakudis.
Head over for a nice picture with Robin.
Nice job, Arabella. Want to grab some flowers? Congratulations.
Tessa and Catherine Peterman.
together if you'd like.
Seniors of 2020.
And then join your sister for a nice photo with Robin when you're done. Take your time.
They don't seem to have the way they said it.
Thank you.
Nice job, Tessa!
Tegan Prescott.
Congratulations. Take your time right here. And then after that, head on over for a picture with Robin.
Go ahead and go up the flowers.
Come on up, Tiana.
Nice. Want to stop for a picture? We're going to take a picture with Tiana,
Asher Souter.
We gotta take a picture. Thank you.
Levi Schiller.
And then we'll get a nice picture over here with Robin and your brother by the flowers, okay? Head on over.
Haven Venema.
Step up. Take a nice picture with Robin by the flowers. Congratulations.
Kate Davin.
Head over for a picture with Robin.
Micah Byron Samara.
Flowers and a photo op to your right on your way out. Thank you. Congratulations. Great.
Pascal Fishburne. Caroline Oranger. Lucine Rivette.
Flowers and photo op, right this way.
Angela Simmons.
Photo op to your right with the flowers. There you go. Thank you.
Ani Bagley. Al Barzakowski.
And to the right for a photo op and the flowers.
Mikala Bennett.
Photo op to your right with the flowers.
Abby Bugler. Julian Hidalgo.
To the flowers for a photo.
Eliza Loring.
To the right to the flowers for a picture. There's a sibling in there. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Carmela Mastrangelo. Miles Avery. Silas Baker.
Great. And then over to the flowers for a picture.
All right, there are a few students that haven't been able to make it. Carol Van Stryve, Ire Tajani, Amy Kai, Juliet Hale, Reed Soininen, and a big round of applause for all the new students. A big round of applause for new parents. That's right.
Yeah.
They're fine.
Almost done.
That would have been an enthusiastic one.
Yeah.
Thank you all.
Applause to you. You got all those names. Nice job.